I'm going to call him, okay? This is his official title now, at NASA in Houston. And so Ken is a great guy to know. He trains all of us, and he keeps us straight. And I got in trouble one time. I'll tell that story here in just a second. But only one time. But any and all things to do with talking to the space station on the ham radio, talk to Kenneth. He's a great guy to get his card and his call sign and make contact with us, because it is a tremendous amount of fun to talk to everybody around the globe. You know, when you're up there for 6 months in space, you know, the place gets to be kind of small. You know, it's a big station, but it's kind of like, it's built like kind of like a habit trail. If you've ever had a gerbil or a hamster or something, you know, only instead of hamsters, there's little astronauts crawling around, and the walls can kind of close in on you after a few months, and the friends that I made in the amateur radio business and community, I now feel like just an entrenched member of this community, and it really truly has changed my life for the better. I have to tell you one funny story about, I met this guy, he was in Lisbon, Portugal. He's actually originally from Brazil, but he lives in Lisbon, and his name is Fabiano. And I don't recall his call sign, but every time I would come over, the footprint would come over the European continent, Fabiano was there, and I'd be on that ham radio, and I was just, Fabiano, and he was telling me what modifications he's doing to his home and everything, and we were talking about just little things. He goes, "Where are you now?" And I'd look out the window, and we just built a friendship. And this was actually before our accident, but the incident anyway, the moment that changed our lives forever. But Fabiano said, "You know, my birthday is on August 25th. Is my birthday." I said, so I wrote that down. You know, I thought on August 25th, I'm going to look to see if we have a pass over Europe, because I want to call Fabiano. And so we, sure enough, August 25th, it was the day before, it's the 24th. I looked at the passes. I thought, perfect, we got one like right over Lisbon, you know. So I think I'm going to call Fabiano and sing happy birthday to him, you know. And so anyway, I get on the radio, I call Fabiano, he's there, and I sang happy birthday to Fabiano over the ham radio. And I got a note from Kenneth, who did all of my training. I got an email note the next day. He goes, "Hey, you know, it's you're not allowed to broadcast music over the ham radio." And I was like, I was so hurt, you know, because I feel like I'm such a member of your community now, and you guys are family to me, you know. And so I felt, you know, how when you disappoint somebody, I was like, I disappointed Kenneth, you know. But I thought for a minute, you know, I felt like I was kind of slapped on the wrist a little bit by NASA. And then I thought, you know what? And then I felt flattered that my singing of Happy Birthday was actually considered music. So now I know I'm not allowed to broadcast music over the ham radio. But anyway, the accident I want to leave you with is, you know, in life, whether or not this is our hobby and whatever our workplace is, our profession, if we're in school somewhere, whatever it is that our chosen profession, you know, we're on this pathway to things that and all along that pathway is our journey, our life's journey, you know, and along that pathway are goals that we set for ourselves, you know, things that we aspire to be or become, or places we want to go, or things we want to do, things we want to build, you know, is all along this pathway of our life. And, you know, sometimes the storm comes, you know, actually, always the storm is going to come. And my parting thought with you this morning, I was just to be prepared, you know, for those storms in life. You know, we were ready, and the ham radio, the amateur radio on board the space station was part of my plan. You know, on this pathway to success, you know, you have this brick wall that drops down in front of you, right on your pathway. And, you know, sometimes our pathway in life is through this beautiful meadow, you know, with all these gorgeous flowers, and the birds are singing, and the pathway is wide and it's beautiful. But oftentimes in life, the pathway isn't like that. Sometimes there's a very, very dark forest on either side that we can't even see in there, and it's kind of scary to look off the side of that pathway. Sometimes it's steep cliffs on either side, and that wall is going to fall and it falls every day for us in our lives as these problems we face. And you know, we can do one of three things. And we can stand there in fear, and we can look at the obstacle and just be frozen in fear. And guess what? You can survive. You can live your life. You can attain things. You can go places. But just on the other side of that barrier are your goals and dreams as well. And so we can choose to stand there and frozen in fear and never attain those things. And I think in listening, especially to these young people that have found such a passion in this community, that you know, the greatest tragedy in life is just to have a goal or a dream that goes unrealized because we're frozen in fear. Now, I've done that many times in my life. You know, when the storms come, when the obstacles fall in our pathway. You know, another thing we could do, we can turn and run away. We could do that, and I've done that a lot of times as well when problems come. And we could, but the problem with that is, you know, we end up on a different path. You know, I heard a quote this week that if you have no idea where you're going, any path will do. You know, so, and it's very true. It doesn't matter what pathway you're on. If you have no idea where you're going or what your goals and dreams are, then that's right. Any path will do. But if we turn and run, we'll end up on a different path that you know, just on the other side of that are the things that we want to attain. And so the things that you're being taught in school, the things that we're taught in community, especially a community like this, the things that these kids are teaching us about solving problems, and we're equipped with these sledgehammers, you know, or ropes, we can go over this thing, we can go around this thing, or we can pick up a sledgehammer and we can bash right through it. And that's exactly the problem we faced on the space station last summer. And we were able, you know, the alarms went off, it was a Saturday night, and everybody else was in their crew quarters sleeping, and I had just shut down the treadmill, and about 10 minutes later the alarms went off, and I looked and I kept silencing the alarm. I picked up the mic, I said, "Houston, are you there?" And they weren't answering, and so then I looked and all my crewmates were there, and they said, "What did you do?" I said, "I just turned off the treadmill, I promise you." But anyway, we had a pump module that failed, and we ended up having to go outside and do 3 spacewalks. And I think I talked to a lot of you guys about that as we came back in from those spacewalks. I got on the ham radio and we talked about it and everything. And it was a really, using that radio and having you guys as an emergency contact for us around the globe was a warm feeling for me as a commander aboard that space station. So thank you for letting me be a part of your community. Thank you. I'm sorry I took up way too much time probably, but Chris, that was awesome. I didn't get to hear a lot of the other talks,
but 11 kids.
Man, when you have, I mean, from us old guys, you know, I mean, when you hear stuff like that, it's like, I feel even better knowing that ham radio was there on that space station. I was like, I can call and I can get a guy like Chris, and it's like, dude, I got a problem, you know, so, and have a guy like this help me out. So anyway, thank you very much. Enjoy your stay, and it was great to talk to you guys, and those that I talked to over the ham radio while I was on board the station. Thank you guys. You were my heart and soul up there, and we really appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Okay. Because I would not want any child to follow this act, I'm going to volunteer to just jump in here for a minute and take a picture with you, okay? Okay.